Deathloop is a self-described murder puzzle game where you have to figure out how to break the endlessly repeating day you're in by socially engineering and manipulating 8 targets called visionaries to all become accessible and killable in the same 24-hour cycle. You kill 3, it's no good. The day repeats, they come back to life with no recollection of being dead and go about their business like they didn't just eat a bullet sandwich. There are 4 distinct locations and 4 distinct periods of time which alter said locations, opening up certain areas and closing others, causing different enemy setups and environmental hazards, and moving your main targets around where they'll sometimes be unavailable. I was really happy to learn that those 4 time periods are static. After the rather long but decent tutorial loop is over, you choose your locations and time periods at your own discretion, and once you're in there, there's no ticking clock. You can explore with no stress. Time doesn't pass until you exit again. Is the best way they could have done it, and having that fear laid to rest made my balls tingle because I'm the type of person whose heart rate snorts cocaine as soon as the timer starts counting down, so stress-free progression, very good. Speaking of progression, the way you'll spend most of your time figuring out the puzzle is by chasing down an assortment of leads, whether they're a set of objectives for figuring out how to manipulate visionaries or to find unique guns. The visionary leads all have to be followed to completion in whichever order to properly set up the solution to the murder puzzle, of which there's really only one, but at least there's a bunch of different ways to kill each of them, even if you can't be flexible with the order of operations. I've shot targets in the head, stabbed them in the back, suffocated them in poisonous gas, set up an indirect means of blowing them sky high later in the night when I'm not even there. I wouldn't call it Hitman levels of creativity and freedom, but there's options. The visionaries are tougher than regular enemies in terms of sponginess, but they still die to one backstab and can be cheesed with the same slabs this game's magical abilities. There's 5 of them, and they range from mildly useful to absolute necessity. Shift and Nexus were my favorites. Shift lets you blink forward a short distance and is a must for traversal and teleporting past entire enemy encounters if you're in a hurry, and Nexus chains people's fates in an AoE, so if you kill one, you kill everyone linked to him. It's a real lifesaver in crowded firefights and good for stealth killing multiple enemies at a time. Other slabs include a basic invisibility one, telekinesis but for flinging humans, and a sort of berserk mode where you deal more damage and take less. All the slabs also have upgrades if you get multiple of them, which help out and make killing the same visionaries in different loops not feel like a waste of time. Another major mechanic of this game is that you lose everything, either when you die 3 times, because you get 2 resurrections, Jesus would be jealous, or when you reach the end of the day and the loop restarts regardless. However, you can hold on to any weapon, trinket, or slab you want if you have enough residuum to infuse it, and therefore keep it forever. You earn residuum by siphoning it from glowing objects as you meander around town, and you get an ass buttload absorbing it from visionaries after you straight up demolish them. You can also sacrifice stuff you don't want to get extra residuum out of that. Generally, I found that I pretty much never had too little for the stuff I wanted to keep, so it's not punishing. Although I only ever found 2 weapons that felt like necessities, both submachine guns, which was lame for my ammo count. One was the only silenced weapon I ever found, and when I say silenced, I mean I shot a dude point blank in the back of the head, and another dude who was 2 feet away just kept leaning on a balcony like he had noise-canceling headphones on. The other was a gun that healed you when it dealt damage, and let me tell you, this thing would completely restore your health if you got even 1 headshot. I was out here shooting vampire bullets and surviving 1v10 engagements out in the open like an anti-garlic badass. As far as actual combat goes, the enemies are like mentally challenged eagles, because they're dumb as hell, but they have really good eyesight for no reason. If you're stealthing around and you hide behind something and you peek the tip of your chin out to spy on a guy who's 3 blocks away, that awareness meter's gonna fill up like an above-ground pool at a poor kid's birthday party. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but they are pretty aware of their surroundings. They also do a lot of damage, unless you equip a character perk that ups your defense, which I never did because you can only have 4 perks, and a lot of them are more important. If you let a guy get some sustained fire on you, you'll be dead in 3 seconds. Conversely, they all die in 1 headshot from any gun, which I adore. That's just good and fun. It makes snapshotting a blast because the aim assist usually defaults to their head, and with the right perks and good aim, you can be a hip-fire machine too. You've also got your machete for melee kills, and the action on that is very reliable if you want to just sprint up to people even from the front and still just instantly put a blade in their neck. The final aspect I should go over is the multiplayer. In Deathloop, you can be invaded once at any point in your loop by Juliana, the rival assassin you're sparring with expositionally at every turn. Maybe it can be more than once, but it only ever happened to me once per loop. This Juliana can either be an AI or a player-controlled human if you enable it in your settings. I set my thing to friends only because I'm not trying to have everything I worked for come crashing down by a rando 12-year-old, but I got excited when AI Juliana showed up. The tension was exciting, and you got great rewards from killing her. I did play as Juliana once and invaded a random person's world, and Juliana's got her own full set of progression rewards and challenges, which is awesome, but she's got a natural disadvantage because she has to kill Colt 3 times in a row to end his loop, but if she dies once, she's outie like a belly button. I killed the guy I invaded twice, but then he killed me. But as someone who generally doesn't like PvP invasions in games, this one is really fun, and I imagine doing it with friends makes it 10 times better. So that's enough general depth, let's get to the game graph, my latest attempt to make my reviews even a little bit unique. As you can see, I've got 5 categories scored individually out of 100: story, graphics, mechanics, challenge, and fun. The game is also going to have an overall score you'll see later when I reveal it. Fun might seem like an overall score, but some games are still good without necessarily being that fun, like visual novels or stuff that really emphasizes other aspects of the gaming experience. We won't spend too long discussing each category at this point. For Deathloop, I gave the story and graphics a 70. The story's fine, not slacking but not working too hard either. The ending is really anticlimactic and abrupt if you ask me, but Colt and Juliana's dialogue is pretty solid and the plot is sorta interesting. The graphics are average, barely noticed them either way. Game's not trying to win Project Runway and it doesn't have to. I give the mechanics an 85 because I really like the headshot-centric gunplay and the slabs, trinkets, upgrades, and residuum systems. I think they work really nicely. Stealth was fun and guns blazing was fun too. Challenge just means difficulty, so the score doesn't actually matter to the quality of the game, but I gave it a 65 because once you actually put all the pieces together, the final loop you have to do where it's time to actually perform the entire task of killing everyone is kinda hard. In the final area, you've got 3 targets, an entire mansion full of enemies, and the potential for a Juliana invasion. The first time I tried it, I lost 2 lives killing the targets, then Juliana invaded and planted mines everywhere and blew me to smithereens and I had to start the whole loop over. It was a bummer. So this game can be hard, but it's not too hard. Finally, the fun stat is sitting at a solid 90. This game is fun. Regardless of anything, it's just really fun. It takes a long time to start dragging, and that's only during some of the less action-oriented quests. So now we arrive at our final score, which is not calculated based on the averages of all the categories, because some things are weighted differently, and as a result, we arrive at an 88 out of 100 for Deathloop. I'm glad this game was good. I was looking forward to it for a while, and after the 10th trailer dropped, I was really sold. Yeah, we saw it too much before release, but it turned out great, so eat your heart out. Well, that's going to do it for this review. Let me know how you found the format. I've been trying to make reviews click with me for a long time, and this might be it, so maybe there will be more. Subscribe and all that, and I'll see you guys next time.